Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. Hope you're all having a stellar day so far on this last weekend of February. If you're on social media, come by and say hi. Tell me what you think of this show. I also write a tech tip of the day, and I link to videos that I shoot and articles that I write and so on. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can find me at Mark Saltzman. That's Mark with a C, Saltzman. All right, we have a great tech talk planned for you this hour. We have a treat, in fact, to kick things off, especially if you love your dogs. Down boy, down boy. No, that's not my dog. That's a sound effect. We're going to chat with the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan, in a moment about a high-tech collar, Halo collar, with Cesar as well as his business partner, Ken Ehrman, from the company. If Cesar heard that dog, what's his noise that he makes, like tss, tss, something like that. Anyhow, but I digress. Also this hour, we're going to learn about what's new in external hard drives and why it's absolutely critical to back up your computer's information on a regular basis, just in case something happens. Like I had a major issue a month ago and could not get into my PC, but thankfully I schedule a backup every night onto this external. It's an offline hard drive, and it minimized the damage because I was able to just reinstall Windows and put everything back in again. We're also going to talk about a new and high-tech way to wait in line during the pandemic and after it with a company called QLess. Get it? Q like a lineup, and less, since you don't have to wait in line, literally. Okay, never mind. We're going to chat with them this hour. Again, the company's called QLess, and they're spelled the letter Q, L-E-S-S. All of this and more on a brand new Tech It Out, powered by Asus, for those in search of incredible. I'll tell you more about them a little bit later in the program, but let's kick off the show with our first interview. One of the topics I love exploring on this show is pet tech, especially if it means technology that can help protect our furry friends from harm. And we're now going to learn about Halo Collar, designed in part by world-renowned dog behaviorist Cesar Millan. And the TV star and author is joining us on this show right now, along with Ken Ehrman, founding and managing partner for the new Halo Collar product. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Hey, Cesar. I know you're on your ranch and the cellular reception is a bit spotty, but thrilled to have you on the program. Ken, why don't we start with you? Before we talk about Halo Collar, is it true pet adoptions have soared during the pandemic?
It's pretty amazing, actually. I'm looking at some numbers here that were published that shows the growth of pet adoptions has increased 4 times over what they were in 2019. 35% more dogs were adopted in 2020 than 2019. And that's about 11 million new pets added. It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, that's good news all around. And I'm not surprised, frankly. Cesar, I understand that you co-founded Halo Collar with Ken. At a high level, what's Halo Collar all about?
It's about, having a peace of mind. It's about really understanding how to love your dog. So people love dogs. Doesn't mean they know how to care. That's why dogs develop, problems, and that's why people seek for my help. And that's why a lot of dogs end up, getting lost or running away from home. So it's really helping people to protect their dogs, to be more proactive with behaviors that need to be practiced when you're not at home. And that's, once you understand the technology behind, we have something called Beacon. And that Beacon, what it does is it helps you to make sure that your dog respect areas of your house when you're not there. So when the dog is practicing this mentally, he goes to work. This is his formal way of going to work. Because if a dog gets bored or frustrated, he's going to destroy your house or show unwanted behavior. But in the mind of a dog, the dog is working, right? Because the human has to care for the energy of a dog, and the human has to give a dog a job. So for me, developing tools is to empower humans to be able to connect, communicate, so they can have the relationship that everybody dreams with a dog, which is trust, respect, and love. Like I said earlier, my clients are dog lovers, but they don't know dogs. And so the reason for technology and the reason for even, the classes that I do and the TV shows that I do is to give humans the best tool, which is knowledge. And after that is creating things that allows humans to learn at a slow pace, because people take a little longer than dogs to learn, but to have the tool that helps you supervise the activities you're looking for, which is boundaries, which is rules, which is limitations, so you can have the freedom of having a dog that listens to you at all times. They misbehave 100% of the time, even when you're not there. And that you can go for a walk freely, because, Halo does all of that. It tells you where the dog is, that's the GPS. It helps you create boundaries. So if you go to the beach and you don't know how to create boundaries yet, the Halo collar gives you access to create boundaries, right? And then the beacon helps your dog to remember the rules of not go to the refrigerator, do not go to a couch that a human don't want you to go, especially when the human is not there. Do not get into the trash cans. All of those things stimulate the mind of a dog and allows the dog to well behave, to maintain his well-behaved way of being. Right? And at the end, my favorite aspect of the Halo is the leash. You're going to be able to press a button, and from your phone and the Halo collar, you're going to create a mini Halo that is going to keep your dog inside your intimate space. So now, even when you're not, paying attention, your Halo collar will do it. So it's a smart way to keep instincts close to you.
Awesome. All right. Now, Ken, when it comes to training your pet and protecting your pet, can you walk us through the 4 different features of Halo collar?
Sure. Well, first of all, if anyone listening to this call Googles it, it's pretty staggering. You can see for yourself about 10 million dogs a year are lost, and about 1 million dogs are run over by a car. And that's because they just don't understand the dangers of roads. They don't understand really the boundaries that humans have set up. So the first most fundamental idea is you can create a fence. You go on your phone, it's like a Google map view of your house or your friend's house or the beach or a park. You draw the fence on your phone, and now your dog will remain within that safe area. And if they go to the fence, they're going to get a beep, or however you want to train your dog, but that's what I use. You're going to keep your dog within a safe area to be off leash. So that's the first thing.
Got it.
So I use that at my house. I let my dog out during the day, and she can run around the property, but I know she can't get off the property. Then I take my dog with me hiking. And when I do that, I use the leash feature. So I see where she is at all times. And there's another button on the app called the whistle button. And if you press that whistle button, this is part of the training, my dog, no matter what she's doing, comes right back to me, right back to the heel position. So even if she's just saw a deer, she is fully trained on whistle. And as Cesar will tell you, dogs will listen to that whistle. So she listens to it every time. And no matter what's going on, she comes right back to me. So it's a tracker, it's a fence, it's a training tool. So we have, experts like Cesar and others who are giving you approaches to be able to train your dog. And it's also an activity tracker. So when your dog is spending time off leash, you can tell how many, miles they went compared to maybe you. Whereas before, when they were on a leash, if you went a mile, they went a mile. But now when I take her for a walk in the mountains, she's running all over the place. Sometimes she goes 3 or 4 miles while I go a mile.
It's like a Fitbit for your dog. I love it.
Exactly.
Cesar, I understand your world-renowned dog training methodologies were used as the foundation for Halo collar. Could you elaborate?
My whole existence is about training humans. I don't train dogs, I train humans. So it's very important, the humans learn how dogs learn, first and foremost. Because that way, when you're teaching boundaries, rules, or limitations, or even celebrating a behavior, you need to understand, what makes a dog understand that that's what exactly, because of the time people communicate with a dog, but they don't have a clear communication. So the methodology that I teach is teaching humans how to connect with the right energy, teaching humans how to communicate to a dog the way he understands, so you can develop the relationship of trust, respect, and love. Then after you understand that, then you bring technology, then you bring tools, then you bring whatever you want. So it's very important that we humans understand how they connect, how they communicate. So that's my methodology, to make sure humans understand how animals do it, or in this case, how a dog do it. Remember, we always call dog man best friend, but doesn't mean the human is dog best friend. We're still having unwanted behaviors with our dogs, but they're unborn with those behaviors. We create those behaviors. So it's very important for us humans to understand that, and number one, we create bad behaviors. Dogs don't want to give you unwanted moments in your life. They just want to give you awesome, happy, loving, instinctual moments. But if the human doesn't understand how things work, and then the human unconsciously is going to make a mistake. So that's the methodology, how you learn not to make a mistake and your dog feels safe, peaceful, and love, and trust, and respect, and loyalty.
One thing that Cesar loves to say that I think resonates with me is humans love to give affection, but that's not really what dogs need. They need exercise, discipline, and affection. Halo is a tool to help execute on that.
We'll continue chatting with Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and Ken Ehrman from Halo Collar when we return after this short break. But first, I want to thank ASUS, the title sponsor on this program. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, and that includes its line of award-winning laptops and desktops. Head over to asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're chatting with Cesar Millan, internationally recognized dog psychology expert who has starred in numerous TV shows and is a best-selling author. And we're also talking with Ken Ehrman. Both are founding partners for the new Halo collar. Now, Ken, there are other smart dog collars on the market. What do you think makes Halo unique?
The biggest difference is that it's both a fence, but almost like a smartphone for dogs. So if you look at the collar, it has the ability to communicate with a dog through vibration, through sound, through static, Cesar's famous sound. So what that means is you can, as a person, communicate with your dog through the collar. The other smart collars that are out there are just trackers. They're not really about communication and training, and really about having just the best relationship with your dog. They're just trackers.
Yeah, good point. I have written about several other high-tech dog collars in the past, and they are mostly virtual fences or invisible fences. Now, Ken, you also mentioned that the collar can give some slight vibration as a cue if your dog is getting close to that edge of the virtual fence. You mentioned that you prefer sound, but that is an option, and it doesn't harm the animal. But is there a rationale for having one or both? It's just really up to the user what they find most effective. Cesar?
Where exercise plays a big role in order for your dog to become sensitive in case that you don't want your dog to receive any warning that you don't agree. They're there in case that the intensity of a dog is too high. Depends on the intensity of the dog is going to be the warning that he's going to receive. And the whole point is to make sure that he doesn't cross the boundary, because after that, he's not safe anymore. So exercise plays a big role. That's why it's important to read the instructions, because I want to make sure that I prepare people to keep our dogs at the highest level of sensitivity so they learn fast. This is what I call calm surrender state. So when the brain is in a calm surrender state, they learn everything fast, and they learn everything in a very sensitive way, to the point that a simple is enough for their behavior not to continue.
Okay.
And that's why I use the sound, and yes, that's why I use certain sounds, but first I exercise the dog. So the physical energy is out of the learning experience. Now the only thing I have is the mind.
Before we wrap up, Ken, and talk pricing, Cesar, what's next for you? What are you working on now? Where could our listeners find your work?
Well, I'm super excited. We just finished 10 episodes, a new series. Right now it's called Cesar's Way. And I'm definitely going to show up a lot. What we've been working, here at the ranch. People are coming to the ranch and getting trained, and it's my family now. My kids are 26 and 22, so it's my family helping families, not just me this time. So I'm very excited that my pack is helping your pack.
That's awesome. All right, Cesar's Way, we'll have to look out for that. Awesome. And then, Ken, how much does Halo Collar cost, and where could we learn more? What's the best website, for example?
The website is www.halo halocollar.com, HALO-collar.com. It's currently $799. It's a $200 discount right now. Less than an invisible fence with 4 times the capabilities. So, the typical invisible fence can be $2,000 to $3,000. Plus, you can't take it with you. You can't take it to your friend's house. It has no portability, and you got to bury a wire in the ground. So it's really less expensive and a lot more functional.
Are there any service fees if you want to track your dog's whereabouts if they escape the virtual fence?
Right now, you get 6 months of free gold service if you buy it today. Eventually, there will be a monthly fee. You're going to have about the low end will be about $4 a collar for unlimited cellular, which is obviously a lot less expensive than any cell phone plan. But this is for your dog. And then the high end will be $30 a month for access to premium content like Cesar Millan trainers, maybe even sometimes Cesar himself, to solve any kind of training or other issues that you might have with using the collar. So you kind of have the high end, the premium content, dog training for $30 a month, and kind of the basic fence functionality, but all the main functions for less than $5 a month.
All right. Ken and Cesar, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with Halo Collar. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you.
You guys. Bye-bye.
For the remaining time we have in this block, I thought I'd reach into the old mailbag and answer a tech question from a Tech It Out listener. And you too can send me a note at tech@marksaltzman.com. That's TECH@MARCSALTZMAN.com. Or you can hit me up on social media. Come say hi. Let me know if you have a tech question. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, so a question comes in asking, Mark, I love reading and I'm trying to decide between buying a tablet or an e-reader. Please help. Okay, so there are pros and cons for each choice, so I'd be happy to walk through them with you. As you might expect, ebook readers, or e-readers for short, are designed primarily for reading. They're usually smaller and lighter than tablets, which make them more portable and easier on your wrists while holding. And they have a non-glare screen that makes it easier to read in bright sunlight. Not so easy to do on a backlit tablet. Some e-readers are waterproof, making them ideal to read in a bubble bath or by the pool or beach. They have battery life measured in weeks, not hours, and they're more affordable than tablets, generally speaking. But a tablet is a lot more versatile. Consider it a computer that's touch-enabled, and it could be used not just for reading books, but also for accessing social media, playing games, listening to music, watching videos, web browsing, email, photography, and video calling, all on this one slender device. So again, it's more versatile. You could do a lot more with it. They have larger screens than e-readers, and they're also in color. But again, tablets cost more than an e-reader. But at least there's more than 1 million apps to download. Many of them are free or close to it, so you can fully customize your tablet. There you have it, a look at the difference between e-readers and tablets. You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Stick with us. When we return, we're going to learn all about QLess. This is an alternative to waiting in line, especially during a pandemic. We'll be right back with more.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out, especially during a pandemic where we're encouraged to be socially distanced from one another. An app that reduces the need for lineups or crowded waiting rooms couldn't come at a better time. And so we're now going to learn about QLess, an electronic queue management system, with Charlie Meyer. He's a VP at QLess. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Thank you, Mark. Glad to be here today.
For our listeners, QLess is spelled the letter Q, L-E-S-S, but a cute play on words, of course, as you're all about reducing the need for a queue or a lineup, as we say here in North America. So at a high level, what is QLess all about?
That's a great question, Mark. QLess has really created a paradigm shift in the way people wait. And it's an intuitive mobile wait technology that allows businesses to enable consumers to manage their own time and be served when the business is ready to serve them.
Got it. Okay. So with that in mind, talk to us about some of the key features of QLess. So I know there are things like remote queuing, virtual callback queues, as well as flex appointments. So maybe you can walk us through what this is all about.
Absolutely. So, we've been practicing social distancing since our inception in 2009. So, COVID is something that we were kind of built for, and we were built on a mobile platform. And so, if you imagine a world without waiting in line and customer complaints, QLess had the vision to become a reality for businesses. And it's an intuitive mobile technology that eliminates physical lines. It optimizes efficiencies that enhance customer satisfaction. It also builds loyalty and increases profitability. Now, for a consumer, what it does, Mark, is it allows a consumer to get in line from anywhere. So they could download the QLess app. They could come in through a business website where they're checking in online. They could get in line at a lobby kiosk. We even have the ability to text into line. So they could, text retail, for example, as the keyword to a dedicated number, and it would put them in the queue. And then the magic really takes place, Mark. So what happens then is I am told, Mark, you'd receive a text saying, Mark, thanks for getting in line. You're currently 8th in line and your wait is 28 minutes. We'll keep you updated during your wait. So now consumers can wait where they want to wait. They can wait at home, they can wait at work, they can wait in the car, but they don't have to wait in a crowded lobby. And then what's really interesting about QLess is there's a lot of solutions out there that are able to send a text, but ours are interactive. And so consumers will continue to get updates as they move up the queue, and they can also interact with the queue. So they can push themselves back. So they could say, I need 20 more minutes.
Right.
They can leave the line, they can rejoin the line, they can press H for help. And all of that, is in the app or within text-in. So that way, nobody's left behind. And that's really a key differentiator with QLess is, if you ask everybody to use an app and everybody to download an app, that can be a lot of extra steps for people. And that can be challenging when you're dealing with government offices, different ages, things like that. But almost everybody receives an SMS text. And so we find that we have about 99% adoption rate.
All right. So you do not need to first download the app, but as long as you have a mobile phone and can receive a text message, an SMS, then you're good to go. So a very low barrier of entry there makes a lot of sense. Can you walk us through how it works as a customer? So let's say I want to go, I don't know, there's only curbside pickup at the home improvement store in my area. And will I just get a notification if that store supports QLess and just say, hey, Mark, do you want to join the line? Or like after I buy something online and I want to pick it up?
That's a great question. So yes, a business must have a subscription with QLess. That's the most important thing. We work with government agencies, colleges, retailers, healthcare. If they have QLess enabled, you would get in a queue for service. They'd keep you updated. And when they're ready to see you, they'd say, hey, first, you get a text that says, hey, Mark, you're almost at the front of the line. Your current wait is 10 minutes. Please start heading back to our store.
Got it.
So that way, we call that a predictive summoning message. So we're kind of giving you a warning that, you can start heading back to the store. And then once you've arrived at the store, you can actually hit A for arrived, and it'll actually tell the retailer that you're on site, and they can come out and give you your package.
Oh, very cool. We are chatting with Charlie Meyer, VP at QLess. This is an electronic queue or lineup management system. I was going to ask you if it was developed because of the pandemic, but as you mentioned, you've been around for years prior to COVID-19, so good timing, I guess, on your end. With businesses, could they leverage the fact that they've got this customer now connected to the store, for example, where they could maybe upsell them? Like if I'm told, okay, Mark, you're 8th in line at whatever home improvement store and picking up a lawnmower, could they say, do you also want to pick up this that complements, is there anything like that could incent a business to want to adapt your platform even more?
Absolutely. So, most of the time when customers come in for a retailer or a business, they want to get served right away. And so they're not typically there to keep shopping and shop more. And the reason is they don't want to miss their turn. And what's unique about QLess is we have such an engaged wait that we're able, through the SMS text and through the app, to announce, make them feel comfortable to walk around the store and do shopping while they wait, and we'll keep them updated. And we promise you're not going to miss your place in line. And so the shop while you wait is pretty amazing. Typically with a retailer, a big box retailer, we'll see up to $1 a minute spent while somebody's waiting.
Wow. And speaking of which, I saw some numbers on your website. Can you quantify the success of QLess to date?
So yeah, Mark, QLess can increase revenues in a business by up to 50%. We can also create operational efficiencies by up to 90% by streamlining customer journeys and workflows once people arrive. And we can also improve the customer satisfaction up to 99%. So it can truly be a game changer for benefiting a business.
All right, Charlie, as we wrap up, how much does QLess start? I'm assuming it's free for the customer, but for a business to subscribe to your platform, how much does it start at, and where can we learn more?
Yes, Mark. So it is free to consumers. They don't pay anything for QLess. And for businesses, it ranges anywhere from $50 a month up to $500 a month, depending on features and functionality that they choose. Obviously, with enterprise applications, those are very unique and depending on the number of locations.
And then the best website is QLess.com, right? QLESS.com?
Correct.
Okay. Great chatting with you, Charlie. Unfortunately, it took a pandemic for me to learn about this, but I know you've been doing this for several years. So continued success. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll be right back with more Tech It Out. Stick with us.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life. And that includes its line of award-winning laptops like its Asus ZenBooks, its VivoBooks, its Chromebooks, and ExpertBooks, which are business class laptops. Tech it out at asus.com/US/radio. That's asus.com/US/radio for these awesome laptops. Speaking of computers, at the risk of sounding preachy, I always talk about the importance of regular backups of your important information because you never know what can happen. Even a techie like me ran into a huge computer issue about a month ago, but was saved because my info was backed up onto an external Western Digital drive the night before. Whether you're a computer user, a smartphone lover, or a gamer, we're going to learn what's new with Western Digital's various drives, as we've got Brian Pridgeon with us. He's Consumer Marketing Director at Western Digital. Welcome back to the show, Brian.
Hello, Mark, and thank you for having me. And I definitely agree with you when it comes to making sure that we're all cautious, not just about backing up, but really how do we manage our digital content? And when you think about it, first of all, I would just like to applaud everyone out there for their resiliency. Kind of in the time we are today, we're seeing actually that consumers are consuming, creating more digital content than ever before. So it really speaks to the fact that consumers out there and folks just like you and I are very resilient. We're keeping on going and we're still creating.
Absolutely. Many more millions of us are now working or schooling from home as well. So we need to better manage all of this data on our devices. Before we talk about specifics, maybe you can share with us a bit of information about Western Digital and to break down the different divisions under that banner. Like there's WD Black for gamers, there's SanDisk, G Technology, and so on.
Yes, absolutely. What we say is no consumer left behind. And when you think about that, whether you're a gamer, we have a product line under Western Digital called WD Black. That's been specifically products that are designed, built, engineered, tested by gamers. Then when you look at SanDisk, SanDisk is a brand that's been around for a while. It's the world's #1 trusted brand by professional photographers, and it's known for our USBs and our memory cards. And as I said, it's the most trusted brand out there. We also have G Technology, and G Technology is really for professionals, and they're looking for guaranteed access and possession and protection of their content. So those products are really geared for studio level performance and studio level protection. And then when you get right back down to kind of the core Western Digital brand, and that's what we call the WD brand. And you may have heard of our products called Passport, My Cloud Home. Those are our traditional storage products that are really geared for productivity, but we've also added some new things. And once we get to talking about specific products like My Passport, portable SSDs, we can really talk about some of the unique things that we've added to Western Digital, the My Passport line.
With that in mind, there are other storage companies. So what would you say separates Western Digital from the rest?
There's a number of things that really separates Western Digital for the rest of the companies that are out making storage products. One is we've been doing this for a long time. We're celebrating our 50th year in memory.
Wow.
And what that means is we really know the inside and outside. In fact, when you think about SSDs, we invented the first SSDs back in the 80s, right? Before we knew that this business would be a tremendous opportunity, because we are looking ahead of the market to see what consumers need, what they want, and we're then trying to plan for the future. But one of the biggest things from kind of a technology standpoint, there's a lot that goes into these products. There's the memory itself, there's a controller, there's firmware, and all of those three things have to be integrated together. And we are one company, one of the only companies that expertise in all three of those areas, not just an engineering standpoint, but a marketing from an end user consumer. They're telling us what they want. They're telling us the performance they need, and we're building products that far exceeds the reliability of any of the other competitors out in the market.
Yeah, and to me, reliability, Brian, is the number one thing. I mean, it's great if you can find a 5 terabyte external drive on the cheap, but is this going to last? And are you going to trust your irreplaceable photos and home movies and documents with that? A lot of times they will fail over time because they're not made with great parts. And speaking of external storage, Brian, I'd love to start with portable solid state drives, or SSDs for short. What makes these so popular today compared to an HDD or hard disk drive?
There's been tremendous innovation in portable SSD even over the last 6 months. And we've been in this business for a while. But really what it comes down to is we are all creating more content than ever before. And now we all want to have it at our fingertips. And so when you think about portable SSDs, the one thing that people think about over hard drives, and by the way, hard drives, fantastic storage devices for storing tons of capacity with multiple terabytes. There's spinning disk involved, and there's a level of reliability that we deliver with those products. But when you talk about SSDs, the big game changer is speed. So today, for example, you can purchase a SanDisk or a Western Digital SSD that can reach speeds up to 2,000 megabytes per second. And even 6 months ago, that was unheard of, to have that much performance that fits right in the palm of your hand. So what that means is, as you're transferring files, as you're copying files, it's all about saving time and transferring those contents. So it really comes down to portable SSDs. The big advantage over hard drives is speed. However, it goes even further beyond that.
Sorry, Brian, we got to put a pin in that. But when we return, more with Brian Pritchett from Western Digital. So hold that thought, Brian. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Check It Out whenever you want.
We're chatting with Brian Pritchett, Consumer Marketing Director at Western Digital, about all the different kinds of external and internal drives that Western Digital has, catering to a different type of person and need and budget. Now, before the break, Brian, you were just about to tell us about the WD My Passport line. If you want to continue on that.
Yes, it actually comes in a very, very stylish metal enclosure. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier, I talked about the vertical integration, but really in the reliability and the trust, and those go into all the products.
And I also like that they have that little carabiner loop or hook area where it's got like this little enclosure where you can clip it to a backpack or a purse or something if you want. Isn't that right?
Now, absolutely. When you think about the products that are geared for mobility, you want to take them with you. That product that you're mentioning is our SanDisk Extreme and also the SanDisk Extreme Pro. And those are specifically designed with that little carabiner loop in. So if you want to clip it inside your camera bag, or if you want to clip it to your backpack, you can be rest assured that wherever you go, your memories are going to go there with you. And both those products, by the way, are waterproof and they're rugged and they're built for on the go.
We're chatting with Brian Pridgeon. He is the Consumer Marketing Director at Western Digital. Just two more questions for you, Brian, before we let you go. Backing up from an iPhone or an iPad can be tricky. There's no spot for a micro SD card or a USB port or anything like that. Tell us about the iExpand family from SanDisk and how you solve that problem.
Yes, that's a really good point that we often overlook when we buy a new phone, for example, that happens to be landlocked because there may not be a slot for a memory card, right? So then you're thinking, well, how do I get all these images off the device? Well, we have a couple of different ways you can do that. One is our iExpand drive. And what an iExpand does, it plugs right into the Type-C or the Lightning port into your iPhone, and it lets you directly, physically, it looks similar to a USB, but you can pull those images directly off of the phone. So that's one way you can do it. That's kind of a traditional sneaker wear that I would call it, type of performance that we're all used to with USB. But let me talk to you about something that's totally new. Think of the concept of if you have your iPhone or your Android-based phone and you want to not only back it up, but we all have the same challenge with a smartphone is that at some point you have to charge it. And what we're doing today is we're saying, let's take advantage of the fact that everyone needs to charge their phone. So we have a wireless charging pad, but what makes this wireless charging pad totally different than anything else in the world on the market, it also wirelessly backs up the content on your iPhone. So just as I set my phone down, or if you set your phone down now to charge it on a 10-watt wireless iExpand charging pad, it will also back up. So what that does, it gives you the confidence to know that you are powered up and charged up and ready to go. It also gives you the confidence to know that up to 256 gigabytes of content or photos that you may have on your phone is backed up, and that all equates to peace of mind. And that's really what we're about at Western Digital, inventing, creating unique products that solve problems.
I always get that shut the front door face when I tell people what the SanDisk iExpand can do, where you put your phone down on top of the little tray or puck, if you will. It wirelessly charges up the phone and wirelessly backs up your important photos and videos for you in one shot. That's just like the look on their face is priceless. So you can learn more about that, of course, at sandisk.com. Now, before we wrap up, Brian, gamers are a big part of your audience for both PCs and consoles. What do you have for this group?
Now, the real key with gamers are gamers want the latest, greatest performance, reliability, and capacity as well. So what we've done is we've designed a whole new product, a whole new lineup of products that are uniquely designed with gamers in mind when it comes to look, the feel, the performance. Is called WD Black. It's been phenomenal, the success we've had over the product. We're working with several of the key industry influencers on really how to make gaming cool. Gaming's already cool. The challenge for us is how to make storage gaming cool, and we think we've done that with WD Black. So I'd invite everyone to come to our website, westerndigital.com, look for WD Black. You'll see some of our internal solutions that are all about speed and performance that help you load up the game faster and store more games. And you'll see some of our portable solutions that are also about taking those games with you to share and continue to play more with your friends.
That's the thing with today's games is that people are buying fewer discs, so they're downloading these huge games. So you need an external SSD like the ones from WD Black in order to store the games, not just to back up like I talked about off the top of our interview in my introduction, but also to run content in real time from those drives. Incredibly important. I know you've got a slew of them. I've got a 4 terabyte SSD from WD Black that I'm very proud of. And as you said, Brian, our listeners can go to westerndigital.com. Thank you so much for your time. It's always great chatting with you, Brian. I love your passion as well as your knowledge and experience in this space. All the best.
Thank you, Mark. Anytime.
Well, we've run out of racetrack on this week's Tech It Out episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your weekend, a healthy week ahead, and I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another brand new episode of Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.